Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back once again. Class 8. Today I will be starting with the unit test 4th course in chemistry also. That is lesson number 7, hydrogen. You have done this element earlier also, and I was telling you and you have heard about this several times. That it has a symbol of H and atomic number of atomic number 1. It has a single valence electron, hence it has a valency of 1. An atomic mass 1.008 atomic mass unit, and a formula of hydrogen molecule is H2. So it is represented by the symbol H, which you already know. That is the first letter of the word hydrogen, and atomic number 1 and mass number 1. Yes, atomic mass is 1.008 AMU, and it is generally denoted by the symbol H2 because it exists in the form of a molecule. So it is the simplest and lightest of all the known elements, and it is a non-metal. You all know, although it has been included in the activity series of metals, since it is electropositive in nature and has a tendency to lose electrons. It is a very reactive element. So a single hydrogen atom cannot exist on its own. We have done this earlier, the atomic number 1. So it has a single electron, which you know is represented in the valence shell in the single atomic orbit, that is the orbit which is around the nucleus of the atom, or the single energy level, and as a single electron, which is visible over here. So this is the single electron, and hydrogen is a very reactive element, so it cannot exist on its own. So it combines with another hydrogen atom. You can see it combines, that is, there is a sharing of electron in order to form a hydrogen molecule. Is it clear? That is why its formula is H2, and we don't represent any of the reaction you have seen as written as H. We have not seen it till now. Is it clear? Then how was this hydrogen discovered? By whom was it discovered? It was discovered in 1766 or 1776 in fact, by Cavendish, Henry Cavendish, who studied the properties of hydrogen in 1776 and recognized it as an element. He called it as an inflammable gas. Inflammable means it can burn. It is because hydrogen is combustible in nature. It can burn. In 1783, another scientist, Henry Cavendish was the person who discovered it, but he did not name it. So another chemist, by the name of Lavoisier, he named it hydrogen. Is that clear? And hydro means water and gen means producing. Thus hydrogen means water producer or water generating gas. Is that clear? This hydrogen occurs both in free state as well as in combined state. Is that clear? So it is the most abundant element in the universe. Just because the sun, how huge is the sun? You can not even imagine how huge it is. And the other stars are mainly composed of hydrogen. And this hydrogen, although is present in very small quantity in the Earth's crust, that in the form of volcanic gases and in coal mines, in combined state it occurs mostly in the form of compounds of hydrogen like water, hydrochloric acid. Is it clear? So there are so many compounds of water. We already know them in the form of H2O. We know this as water. Then HCl, hydrochloric acid, H2SO4 as sulfuric acid. Then we know the nitric acid HNO3, all compounds of hydrogen. Is that clear? Phosphoric acid H3PO4 and sodium hydroxide NaOH, then calcium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, all the hydrocarbons, that is carbon hydrogen containing compounds. Is that clear? C2H5OH, ethyl alcohol. Now all these are hydrogen containing compounds, so they are occurring in the combined state. You can see hydrogen in all of them. And hydrogen is occurring in combination with other elements. Is it clear? So this is how hydrogen is found in the combined state as well. So we know that what is the most important compound of hydrogen. It covers almost 2/3 of the Earth's surface. It is essential for life on Earth, and it is an important component of organic compounds also. Is that clear? So organic compounds are what? They are carbon compounds. They also contain hydrogen, and they form the body of all living organisms. Is that clear? That is, whatever molecule, biomolecules we hear about, whether it is proteins, whether it is carbohydrate, fats, they are all hydrocarbons. That is, they are hydrogen containing compounds. They contain carbon as well as hydrogen. So all the biomolecule, all the molecules which are occurring and making our body are biomolecule, that is, they are compounds of hydrogen. So hydrogen is prepared by the following method. How is hydrogen prepared? It is prepared by electrolysis of water, by the action of water and acids on metals, then the laboratory preparation of hydrogen, and the Bosch process, which we will study later in detail. But before studying this, let us understand what electrolysis of water is, or the first method of preparation of hydrogen. So what is electrolysis? I had told you earlier also that it is one of the conditions for a chemical reaction to take place is by the passage of electricity, by passing electricity. And since certain compounds, there is no change or no effect of the chemicals as well as heat on certain compounds, so the best possible method for the reaction to take place is by electrolysis, by the passage of electricity. So what is electrolysis? It is the process in which an electric current is passed through an aqueous solution of a substance or a molten state of a substance to bring about a chemical change. Or in other words, you can say it is the decomposition of an electrolyte. What is an electrolyte? A substance in aqueous or molten form. Is that clear? Electrolyte is a chemical compound that conducts electricity by dissociating into ions when dissolved into a solvent. Is that clear? If we take, for example, if we take sodium chloride, a spoonful of sugar in water, it becomes an electrolyte. We pass electricity through it. What is this? This sodium chloride is the common salt that we are taking in the form of the food. Is that clear? And when this dissolves in water, it becomes NaCl aqueous. Is that clear? Instead of solid, you will write aqueous. And when electric current is passed through it, it will dissociate into these ions. That means a positive charge and a negative charge. Is that clear? So the process in which an electric current is passed to an aqueous solution, that is a substance which has been mixed in water of or a molten state of what is molten. If you melt candle, the wax becomes in the molten form. Similarly, the metals, when they are heated at very high temperature, they melt. Is that clear? So it is a molten state of a substance, and this brings about a chemical change, and this chemical change is known as electrolysis. This process is known as electrolysis. Sorry, not the chemical change. The process which is helping in this chemical change is electrolysis. And such reaction which take place only under the influence of electric current, I have told you earlier in the previous chapter, they are known as the electrochemical reactions. There are certain terms which are related to it. Firstly, it is ions, IONS. What are these? These are ions. That is, they are electrically charged atoms or groups of atoms. You have studied this in earlier chapters also. And they are formed by the decomposition of electrolytes. Is that clear? They are formed by decomposition of electrolytes. Here, sodium chloride is solid. It has been mixed with liquid and has come in the form of aqueous sodium chloride, and it is forming ion or dissociating or breaking up into ions which are both positively and negatively charged particles. Is that clear? So this is showing what? A positive charge and a negative charge. Positive charge means what? Positive charge means that that atom has lost electron, loses electron. That is why it has attained a positive charge. While a negative charge denotes that it has gained electron. Is that clear? It becomes a negatively charged. Here sodium has lost electron and chlorine has gained electrons. So there are two terms which are associated with it. That is, the positively charged ions are known as the cations. Is it clear? They are known as the cations, and the negatively charged ions are known as the anions. Is that clear? So apart from sodium chloride, there are so many other anions and cations. That is, all the negatively charged ions are called anions. For example, hydroxide ion, bromide ion, then the sulfate ion. These are all the you can call them what? They are the negatively charged ions or anions. And potassium ion, ammonium ion, calcium ions are what? They are, yes, they are called as the cations. So positively charged ions are called as the cations, and the negatively charged ions are known as the anions. Is it clear? So what are the differences? Now these are the differences between the cations and anions. I have just told you that cations are the positively charged ions and anions are negatively charged ions. Now these ions, that is the cations, migrate towards the or are attracted towards the cathode during electrolysis, and anions are attracted to the anode towards the during electrolysis. Now when we learn about anode and cathode, then this point will be clear to you. Is that clear? What is cathode and what is anode? Cathode is it is which electrode? The electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery or the cell is called the cathode, and the electrode connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called anode. Is that clear? So positive terminal of the battery, anode, and negative terminal is known as cathode. You can see cations are positively charged and they are attracted towards the negatively charged, and anions are negatively charged and they are attracted towards the positively charged electrode. Is that clear? I hope you have understood the difference. That is, cations are positively charged, anions are negatively charged. Cations are attracted to the cathode and anions are attracted to the anode. When I was telling you about electrolysis, I had told you that the electrolyte is a chemical compound that conducts electricity by dissociating into ions when dissolved into a solvent. For instance, I told you when sodium chloride dissolves in water, water is the electrolyte or it is the solvent for sodium chloride. In this, it becomes an aqueous solution of sodium chloride and start dissociating into ions when electricity is passed through it. So it is an electrolyte. So electrolyte is a chemical compound that conducts electricity by dissociating into ions when dissolved into a solvent. Now this is a weak there are basically two types of electrolytes. Is that clear? Otherwise, if you just say name the electrolytes, you can just say acids, bases and salts are example of electrolytes. But in this we divide. There are three types of electrolytes. There are two basic types and one non-electrolyte. That is, two types of electrolytes are strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. What is strong electrolyte? The substances that dissociate completely into the ions in an aqueous solution are called strong electrolytes. For instance, all the sodium chloride that will be present in the aqueous form will dissociate into Na plus and Cl minus. Hydrochloric acid similarly, all of it will dissociate into H plus and Cl minus. Is that clear? So all strong acids and strong bases are examples of strong electrolytes. Is it clear? So basically all strong acids and strong bases are strong electrolytes. You have seen this example. Then similarly weak electrolytes, they are electrolytes but they do not completely dissociate into the ions in an aqueous solution. Is that clear? Some of them are left. For example, CH3 COOH. Now it forms CH3 COO minus plus H plus. So you can see hydrogen is still left here. So all this is the formula of vinegar or acetic acid. This is a weak acid. Is that clear? So it's a weak electrolyte. And similarly with the weak bases like NH4OH, this also does not dissociate completely and it is a weak electrolyte. Is it clear? Next is that ammonium hydroxide and acetic acid are weak electrolytes. All weak acids and weak bases I have just told you are example of weak electrolytes. Then we have the non-electrolytes. Now non-electrolytes are chemical compounds that do not dissociate into ions when dissolved in a solvent and do not conduct electricity, is called a non-electrolyte. Is that clear? Examples are sulfur, wood, naphthalene, sugar, alcohol, urea, glucose and so on. There is a long list of this. They do not conduct electricity in molten form or in aqueous solution, just because they do not dissociate into ions. They will not form ions, hence they will not conduct electricity. Is it clear? So you have seen that electrolytes are what? Are chemical compounds that conduct electricity by dissociating into ions when dissolved into a solvent. Then types: strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. Strong electrolytes dissociate completely into the ions in aqueous solution. Weak electrolytes do not dissociate completely into the ions in an aqueous solution. Then the non-electrolytes, a chemical compound, does not dissociate into ion when dissolved in a solvent because they do not have ions. Is it clear? Then what are electrodes? Now electrodes, an electrode is a conductor or the conducting rod or plate through which a current enters or leaves the electrolytes are called as electrodes. Is that clear? And they are made of metal or of graphite. So anode and cathode I just told you when I was telling you about anions and cation. Anode is an electrode at which current leaves the cell and oxidation takes place. This we will take up later, oxidation reduction, but right now you should understand it as electrode connected to the negative terminal of the cell or battery is called the cathode, and the electrode connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called the anode. Is that clear? So these are the two types of electrodes. So you can see over here that this is the electrolyte sodium chloride, and these are the two electrodes, that is the positive electrode and the negative electrode. Is that clear? This is the positive electrode anode and this is the negative electrode cathode. So this is the electrode which you can see, and the cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. So you can see this is the symbol for the battery. You must have studied in physics. It is represented like this. So it is this. Is that clear? So this is a battery or a power supply through which electricity is being passed. So cathode is connected to the negative terminal and anode is connected to the positive terminal. Is that clear? So electric current leaves the electrolyte through the cathode. So you can see this arrow, how the current is moving. When the power supply is switched on, the current moves from the cathode and electric current enters through the electrolyte through the anode. Is that clear? So it is coming from the cathode to the anode. So this is how electricity is being passed, and cations migrate and discharge at the cathode. So I told you what are the cations. They are the negatively charged positively charged ions are called cations, and they migrate and discharge at the cathode. Is that clear? And anions, these are the anions, they migrate and discharge at the anode. So anions are what? Positively charged ions are called cations. These are the sodium plus anions, and they get discharged at the anode. So you have by now you must have understood little bit about electrolysis. Please revise it so that it becomes easier for you to understand. Allah Hafiz.